We're back for our NFL predictions here for week number 13. We've got all 32 teams playing this week for Thanksgiving week before we hit a couple more bye weeks to close out the bye schedule on week 14 next week. But yes, 16 games this week, all 32 teams play, obviously with the Thanksgiving games tomorrow. So we're going to go over all three of those, and our NFL best bets come out later in the week as well. Still determining if I want to put that out on Friday or Saturday, but regardless, we'll have our best bets out for money lines and spreads on either Friday or Saturday, and then at 5 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to have our best player props for week number 13 of the NFL season as well. Folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. I know this video is going out a day later this week. Might continue to keep these going out on Wednesday, not sure. Regardless, folks, before we get in the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NFL predictions here on the channel. Also on the channel, daily college basketball best bets and daily NBA best bets. Also, our weekly college football predictions were posted earlier this week. It's over 4.5 hours of week number 14 college football picks. Later in the week, or actually tomorrow at noon, we're going to have our college football best bets, so make sure to be on the lookout for that as well. Okay. On to the first now of our 16 games this week in week number 13, kicking things off with the Thanksgiving games, and our first one being obviously at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. I'm taking the Lions to win and cover. Guys, I know Detroit last week almost lost to the Giants, but you know what? The New York Giants are the world's best two-win football team. They're the greatest 2-10 team of all time. I understand the Giants are the only team eliminated from the postseason, and we'll talk about them on Monday Night Football at the very end of the video, but they are the best 2-10 team to ever exist. And yes, it was a close one. The Lions almost lost if Jake Bates doesn't hit a 58-yard field goal and Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't do his thing in that game. Just in general, the Lions lose, but they have kept their playoff hopes alive, and sure, they would have still been in it if they didn't win last week, but it's a big deal that they won that game. And also, Frank Ragnow's back. Came out of retirement. That's huge. I assume he's not going to play this week, but yeah, Ragnow is going to be back, so the Lions bolster up that O-line a little bit again in the future. Regardless, though, Lions-Packers, I understand the first game that these two teams played this year, the Packers dominated. It was a 27-13 final. It felt like a lot worse than that. Josh Jacobs, by the way, is returning for the Green Bay Packers, so that's good for my fantasy team. But anyways, I'm taking the Lions. I don't think they lose at home on Thanksgiving. I understand last year they played a very competitive game against the Chicago Bears where they won by 3 points. I'm not saying this is going to be a 3-point margin either, but I think the Lions are going to win. It's a must-win game at home. Jared Goff plays a lot better in domes than he does outdoors for the most part. And oh, by the way, yeah, he's playing in a dome every single week until week 18. I still believe the Lions win the NFC North. I know it hasn't looked that way. I know their offense has struggled. Their defense isn't the best sometimes, even though they've been playing better than last season. The NFC North is still wide open. And you know, if the Lions win this week and things don't go the right way for the Bears on Friday, and we'll get to that in a second, the Lions are back in first place. And I kind of think that's how that's going to go. I'm not sold on the Packers. I know the Packers, again, coming off of a victory over the Minnesota Vikings. All right, anybody's beating 9 right now. You know, I like J.J. McCarthy. I still think he's the future at quarterback for that team. I think they're going to go out and get Anthony Richardson next offseason and have McCarthy compete with they are. I still think it's going to be McCarthy next year. But beating the Vikings right now, especially McCarthy's rookie season, don't forget, he's the youngest starter in the NFL. I'm not that impressed. Sure, you beat the Vikings. I know the Lions lost the Vikings. I understand that. But the Packers' recent victories are the Giants on the road and the Vikings. Again, I know these are common opponents. Let's not forget about the games the Packers played against the Panthers and against the Eagles. They didn't look good in either of those games. Is Jordan Love the guy? I don't know. I think the Lions are able to outscore this team. I really think so. Yes, I know the Packers defense is good. I know Micah Parsons lives in the backfield. I completely understand that. It is the Detroit Lions. They are seemingly figuring it out. I know, again, they've traded wins and losses for a couple weeks now at this point. They need to start racking them up. And don't get me wrong, their schedule is still very difficult, just like how Green Bay's schedule is very difficult. The Lions still have the Packers this week, obviously, then Cowboys, Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Bears. I mean, those are tough matchups with the exception probably of going to Minnesota on Christmas. And the Packers, it's nothing but tough games, probably with the exception of going to Minnesota. Lions, Bears, Broncos on the road, Chicago again, Baltimore, and then going to Minnesota for week number 18. I still think the Packers are going to get squeezed out of it. I don't know. I think they're going to get squeezed out of the playoffs. I know it's a lot to say right now, but we know, again, there are 8 good teams in the NFC, and I think the Packers are going to be the team on the outside looking in when I look at schedules, and yes, that would require the Bears to stay in over them, but I think the Bears are going to play better football down the stretch. I don't know. So we'll see again. I think the Lions still win the NFC North. I think the Packers are going to get squeezed out of this entire thing. That all starts tonight or tomorrow night, or I guess tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon in Detroit with Jared Goff and his team picking up a win. The way Jahmyr Gibbs is playing is absurd. He's about to cross 1,000 rushing yards on Thanksgiving. Jared Goff, I don't like how there's still Lions fans are, oh, do we know if Jared Goff's our guy? Like, come on now. All right, come on. Jared Goff is still throwing for over 280 yards per game. He's still in the top 10 every single year, statistically speaking. Why wouldn't Jared Goff be the guy? Okay? And Jared Goff's in a dome, by the way, tonight, too. So, on Thursday. So, and that's why it's so important for the Lions to, hopefully get the top 2 seed in the NFC. And why I'm saying top 2 is, well, if number 1's the Rams, you could keep Jared Goff in a dome. Not that I don't think Goff can't play outdoors. I think he's much better indoors, though. I think the Lions play much better indoors as well. Anyways, I'm going to take the Lions to win and cover. I think they're going to get their get-back from the first time in the season. I don't think Dan Campbell's going to lose the same team twice. So I think they beat the Packers this week. They're at home. They beat them twice last year. I think they're going to get him here. Give me Detroit, money line, and spread at home from Ford Field in Detroit. On now to our second game of the week, and we go to Dallas, Texas for the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys to win. This might sound crazy, and yes, the Cowboys might not get the benefit of the doubt on every single call this week. I'm still taking the Cowboys to beat the Chiefs. Now, if you want to go safe option, and I will say this, there is going to be no best bets, obviously, for Thursday's games and Friday's game, for that matter. I would go with Detroit. Definitely a bet on Detroit minus 2.5, and I would take Dallas plus 3.5. And I would take, honestly, what we get in the Thursday night game. I'll get to that in about a couple minutes. Anyways, I'm taking the Cowboys to cover against the Chiefs. Guys, the Cowboys actually look like a playoff team now, which is absurd. Can they get in? Guys, this team could win out and they still would not make the playoffs. They could go 11-5-1, which I don't think they're going to go to Detroit next week and win. I'll say that. I think this team's playing well at home. I think when they go to Detroit, I think they're going to get outscored. I think that Detroit offense is going to maul the Cowboys, but whatever. I think they get their Thanksgiving boost this week. I understand the Cowboys don't always play well on Thanksgiving Day, but I think they will this year. I do think the Cowboys are going to finish like 9-5-1, not 9-5-1, 9-7-1. So I think they're going to be outside looking in. Obviously, there's some hope for Cowboys fans, though. Maybe they could overtake the Eagles. It's not happening. Great win last week, though. And the Cowboys look good. They look like a playoff team, but that's what happens when you go to Carolina and lose. That's what happens when you go play the Cardinals at home and lose. Then you put yourself in this situation. Yes, they're playing really good football. Dak looked great. I mean, they went down 21-0, and that's the Eagles. We'll talk about Philadelphia in a little bit. But Dallas goes down 21-0. They dig themselves in that hole, and they find a way to come back. 24 consecutive points. They win the football game. Brandon Aubrey's leg wins it, obviously, at the end. But the damage that offense did beyond the first quarter, absolutely massive. Dakota Prescott, 354 yards. How about George Pickens? Consistently one of the best receivers in the National Football League this year. They're at home. They're taking on Kansas City. Guys, I'm still not impressed with the Chiefs. Yeah, they beat the Colts. They did, okay? Indianapolis blew it, and good on Kansas City. They came back and won. That felt like a last year Kansas City game. Now, don't get me wrong. I was mad. I wasn't too mad, though. I had plus 3.5 for the Colts. So I was just hoping Kareem Hunt didn't get in the end zone in overtime, and obviously Butker came in and hit the game-winning field goal. Now, however, again, Chiefs win that game at home against Indianapolis. Good for them. Mahomes looked really great. Now, again, I don't understand why the Chiefs ever run the football. I know what you can say. Oh, Kareem Hunt finally went over 100 yards. If you give Mahomes, especially when they were coming back in that game and whenever they were down, you give Mahomes 4 chances to get 10 yards, he's probably going to get it. Why do the Chiefs ever run the football? I get it. Like last season, Mahomes struggled at times. Mahomes isn't struggling anymore. I don't get that. Rashi's back. Why wouldn't you just throw the ball every single down? When you're down, obviously. Early in the game, you can't do that. But when it got to the point where they were losing and trying to fight back from behind, why did they even bother to run the football at all? Give Mahomes 4 chances to get 10 yards. Odds on he's probably going to get it. And if he doesn't, okay, tip your cap. You stopped us 4 consecutive times to get 10 yards. Probably not going to happen, right? Anyways, though, they go to Dallas here. I think they lose. I think they lose at Dallas. Thanksgiving game, Cowboys at home. Chiefs have not been a good road team this season. That has been well detailed. And obviously, they're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs. There's no chance they're winning the AFC West. And that's the thing. There's still a chance they miss the playoffs, guys. Now, I'm starting to think the Chargers are going to be the team that gets squeezed out of the AFC because it's not going to be the Jags. Look at the Jags' schedule. They're not going out. All right, and the Jags, that's why it was so huge they picked up that win in Arizona because the Jags, even though they might not be impressive in some of these wins, Trevor Lawrence throwing 3 picks, they're still finding ways to win. So good on Liam Cohen, good on Jacksonville, good on Trevor Lawrence for finding ways to win. But I'm starting to think it's going to be the Chargers that are going to find their way out of the postseason. We'll see. That's if the Chiefs can get in. It's still an uphill climb for this team. I don't think they beat Dallas. I think the Cowboys offense is going to be too much for the Chiefs. That's going to require the Chiefs to score every single time. And yes, they look good in the second half of that game. You're going to have to play a full 4 quarters against the way the Cowboys are playing offense right now. Now, again, down the stretch for Kansas City, there's honestly a chance they could win out after the Cowboys game, and sure, I'll give them that. I think there's a chance they finish 11-6. I don't even know if they beat Denver on Christmas, but it's at Arrowhead, sure. They haven't won on the road all year long except for in New York against the Giants. That's the only road game they've ever won this season. I don't think they beat Dallas. And then in the playoffs, okay, if they get in, you're probably a 7 seed. You're probably going to Denver in the first round. Don't love their chances there. I'm taking Dallas here. Give me the Cowboys plus 3.5 at home, plus 150 in the money line. Definitely play the spread, though. Gives us the 3-point boost, with the refs. That's what we did last week. We got it. Give me Cowboys plus 3.5 here at home. Next up, we go to the night game on NBC as we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens. It is the return of Joe Burrow. My fantasy team's happy about that because Baker Mayfield's hurt now, so welcome back, Joe. No, I did not draft both of them. Somehow I got Joe Burrow on waivers a couple weeks ago. Anyways, though, before it was known that he was going to come back. I think the Bengals can play tight against the Ravens. I understand this is kind of the same team going into this week. I understand. I don't think there's that much of a difference between Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco, and that might sound crazy. That might sound insane. Oh, wow, they're not getting that much better with Joe Burrow as a top 5 quarterback in football from a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, but it's the truth, guys. Joe Flacco, I don't want to say Joe Flacco's top 10 in the league, but I will say Joe Flacco's top 10 in the league, okay? Yes, they're going to improve with Joe Burrow, but given the O-line and given the receiving core without T. Higgins and Jamar Chase last week, what else do you want Joe Flacco to do? I'm just going to be honest. So, Joe Flacco's out there, still slinging it, still giving him a chance to win at the end of the game, and he's injured, by the way, and he's throwing the ball to Mitchell Tinsley. So you want Joe Burrow to come back with this. Now, okay, Jamar Chase is back off suspension. T. Higgins is out this week, but okay, you do get Jamar Chase back. Awesome. How much does that help the Bengals? I don't know. Their defense still isn't that great. I know they had a pick 6 last week over Drake May, but we shall see. I think Burrow's going to play well enough to keep him in the game, but guys, the Baltimore Ravens right now could be the best team in the AFC. In an AFC playoff picture right now where we are struggling to find championship teams and struggling to find teams that have experience in the postseason. And I understand the experience in the postseason for Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, isn't particularly great. But look at the AFC. If the AFC playoff picture is what it is right now, are you not taking Baltimore? Patriots 1 seed. Broncos play Bills. I'll probably take the Bills still. Colts play Jags. I'll take the Colts. Ravens Chargers. I'm taking the Ravens. Ravens go to New England. Are you not picking the Ravens to go to New England and win that football game? I am. I'm picking the Ravens. Colts, Broncos, might sound crazy. I'm taking the Colts to go on the road and win. Ravens, Colts, I'm taking the Ravens to go to Indianapolis and win the football game and go to the Super Bowl. I know it's Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, and this all changes if they have to meet up with Josh Allen, if they match up with Patrick Mahomes. Right now, the way the current AFC playoff picture holds, I'm taking just watching everyone play, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking Lamar Jackson to finally go to the Super Bowl in a year where this team has struggled mightily. They started the year 1-5, yet they're 6-5 now, and they're not losing another game until the playoffs. That's the truth. They're not losing another game until they go to the postseason. If, again, they lose in the postseason, which they probably will eventually. Because they lose in the Super Bowl. They lose to the Rams. They lose to the Eagles. They lose to... they might be the Eagles. I don't know. I'm taking the Ravens, though, to beat the Bengals. I think the Bengals can keep it close. Again, Baltimore's just been playing tight games, but they've been winning these close games. They beat the Vikings by 8 points. They beat the Browns by 7 points. And Lamar isn't playing that well yet. That's trouble, because when Lamar Jackson finally gets going again, he's a historically great passer. That's danger, man. That's danger, because their defense is playing really well. I understand they've been playing some bad offenses. Vikings, Browns, Jets. It's going to be put to the test this week. I think Burrow's going to score, but I think the Ravens are going to have answers. I think Baltimore wins, but I do think the Bengals are going to cover again. I think Joe Burrow coming back is a huge boost for this team. Again, I don't know how much better they get from Flacco. They will get a little bit better, though, I will say that. And it does give them, again, the belief, okay, we have Joe Burrow back on our team. Burrow's back. We can actually win now. I don't know. I'm going to take Bengals to cover. I would take +7. I think the Ravens win, but I think the Bengals should keep this close, especially, again, in Burrow's return. There's questions. Well, what is Burrow going to be back? What is Burrow going to be like back in his return? We shall find out. But Jamar Chase is playing. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover, Ravens to win. On to the Black Friday game on Amazon Prime. Same lines, same everything as the Philadelphia Eagles host the Chicago Bears. I'm going with the Chicago Bears to cover 7 points, but the Eagles to win. We are going to find out how legit the Bears are right now. We are. We're going to find out how legit Chicago is. They are currently leading the NFC North. They have led the NFC North for a couple weeks now, but this stretch right now where they have a treacherous end of the season is going to show us how good the Chicago Bears truly are. And if you haven't seen this schedule, oh boy, in Philly, in Green Bay, they get the Browns, Packers again, in Santa Clara against the Niners, and they finish the year at home against the Detroit Lions. That is trouble. Now, if we look at the odds of who's going to win the NFC North, currently the Packers lead it at plus 130, Lions plus 165, and there are the current leaders in the Chicago Bears at plus 270. I think they can keep it close against Philadelphia. Will they beat the Eagles? I don't know, but here's the thing with Philadelphia, guys, and I kept saying it. We did have A.J. Brown last week to go over his player props for the here damn receiving yards, but there's still problems in Philadelphia. This team, again, last week they were 8-2. And you have your receiver throwing Saquon Barkley under the bus. He's complaining about not getting targets. He's been complaining about not getting targets all year long. And they are the Super Bowl champions. I mean, it's a problem when you have a bunch of guys on your team who just want to rack up stats and they don't ultimately care. Oh, well, we're the reigning champions. We're first place in the conference. I don't care. I want yards. And, oh, I'm not the same guy. Well, Saquon's not the same guy, too. This is horrible. This is a disaster in Philadelphia right now. Absolute disaster. I think they beat the Bears, but I would not bet on the Eagles to win a football game for the rest of the season. Yes, they are 8-3. They feel like the worst 8-3 team ever, not because of how they play on the field, because of what's going on in the locker room. Now, they look great, obviously. I mean, this is the Cowboys game was like the Broncos game. Same script for the Eagles. You look good in the first quarter, you look good early in the second quarter, you go up 21-0, and you can't score the rest of the way. Jalen Hurts starts feeding A.J. Brown to show the public, hey, see, we don't hate each other. They end up losing the football game by giving up 24 consecutive points. Offense goes nowhere. I understand they muffed a punt that was pretty bad, but your offense needs to score more than 21 on the Dallas Cowboys. Oh boy, did I get it. Quinton Williams in the run D is a lot better now, but oh my goodness, you can't lose that football game. And now the Eagles are not going to miss the playoffs. They're going to get in. I think they're going to slide to the 3 seed likely. I think they're going to start losing some games. Will they beat Chicago? Probably. I don't feel confident that they go to Los Angeles next week and beat the Chargers, though. I don't. On the road, cross country, Monday night. I don't know about that. They'll win their last couple games because they've closed the year with Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders. So Philadelphia is going to end with a likely of only actually, they might be 2 over the Lions. They're going to be. Okay, they're going to finish 13-4. They're going to be the 2 seed. Do you love them in the first game of the postseason taking on the Niners? I get it's in Philadelphia. I might side with San Francisco to walk into Philly and win. That might sound crazy, but I might. Actually, the way Brock Purdy's playing, I don't know. I need to see more out of Brock. Because, oh boy, after last week. But I think the Eagles are going to win this week. I think the Bears cover. Guys, look at the way Caleb Williams is playing. Look at the way the Chicago Bears are playing. Beat Pittsburgh, beat Minnesota, beat New York. They're on a 4-game winning streak. This team's 8-3. It's insane. Now, their schedule going forward is really difficult. They go on the road a lot to end the season. I understand. I think they're going to play this game tight. Defensively, they're playing well. Caleb Williams is playing well. What more do you want out of Chicago? They're 7-point dogs on the road. Absolutely, sign me up. Black Friday game, give me Chicago plus 7 on the road against Philadelphia, an Eagles team that can't stay out their own way. Give me Chicago to cover with the possibility of winning. Philadelphia, though, likely gets it done. On to the Sunday games, and oh boy, it's perfect timing once more as Shedeur Sanders is 1-0 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. I hate to tell you, hate to say it, but I told you so. I mean, come on now. Who didn't say that, Shedeur Sanders should be starting all year long? Who's been saying that? That was me, okay? It is a damn shame it took this long. Don't forget, this guy was projected to be the number 5 pick in the NFL draft overall-wise, but he slid to the 5th round, and finally, Shedeur Sanders gets to start for this football team. He has as many wins now in one game starting as Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco. I don't know if he's going to get number 2 here. You know what? Yeah, we're going to say it. He's going to get win number 2 right here. The Cleveland Browns will beat the San Francisco 49ers at home. As long as Shedeur gets more accustomed to being the starter, as long as he continues to be fine in that, in that role, preparing throughout the week as a starting quarterback, because don't forget, this guy's never been a backup. And I know you can make that case about a lot of quarterbacks, but there are players, again, in college who go to big-time schools, they have to sit for 2 seasons, and then they're the guy. I mean, look at, again, some of the better quarterbacks right now in college football. It's a random example. Look at Marcel Reed for A&M. He had to back up Connor Wagman last year, and eventually he got to start. Shedeur Sanders has never been a backup anywhere. In high school, at Jackson State, at Colorado, this is his first time ever in his life being a backup without his father as the head coach. He finally gets to start, and they beat the Raiders. Sanders looks good. He threw a bad interception. I understand. They fooled him with the coverage on that. But honestly, Shedeur Sanders looked like a starting NFL quarterback. That throw he makes on the run to Isaiah Bond, rolling to his right, perfect. Okay, the Browns finally have their guy. He's the guy Browns fans have been waiting for, and Shedeur Sanders is now the franchise in Cleveland. I'm crowning him after one game. Yes, I am. Okay, they will beat the San Francisco 49ers at home. I think so. Brock Purdy can't play like that against this defense. 3 interceptions in 1 quarter in the first half for Brock Purdy against the Carolina Panthers. They got away with it because the Panthers suck. Okay, the Panthers are awful. They're still in the playoff race. They're only a game and a half, or they're only half a game back of the Bucs. I know the Bucs aren't playing well either. I'll get to them get to them later. But the Panthers don't stand a chance of not getting in the playoffs. That team's awful. Okay? So Brock got away with that disgusting play. He's not going to get away with that against the Browns. And Myles Garrett and this Browns defense that sacked Geno Smith 10 times last week. Yeah, good luck, Bryce Young. Good luck. As for the offense for the Browns, I have to think that eventually Kevin Stefanski is going to open up the offense. Eventually, he's going to let Shedeur Sanders be Shedeur Sanders and look to more stuff on the run and look, again, to expand everything that Cleveland's got going and not take him off the field once you get into inside the 5-yard line and just go wildcat with Quinshon Judkins. That's ridiculous. But anyways, the Browns are finally coming off a victory. They have officially named Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback. One thing that can't happen is that they somehow lose to the Niners, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what? We're going back to Dylan Gabriel for the Titans game because we know we can win, so we want Dylan Gabriel to start. No. Shedeur gets next week as well against Tennessee at home because he will beat Cam Ward, who is the number 1 pick. I just need to put that out there because that will happen. You know it, I know it, the American people know it. The Browns defense is phenomenal. Shedeur is only going to get better out there. And I'm taking the Browns to beat an injured 49ers team with a bad defense. I know they survived against the Panthers. Well, look who's on the Panthers. Look who's quarterbacking the Panthers. No disrespect, but it's the truth. They got away with bad play last week because they played a bad football team. You can't get away with that against the Browns defense. And now they actually have a quarterback who can throw the ball more than 32 yards. They're going to make you pay. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns again. Sanders will only get better and it only evolves as an NFL quarterback as the season goes on and as his career goes on. Shedeur and the Browns win and cover 5.5 points. Well, they cover 5.5, and we're going to take them to win as well. Browns at home against the Niners. Next up, we go to an AFC South matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags keep on winning. I will say that. The Jaguars just keep on winning. 7-4. Did anybody think the Jags were going to go 7-4 to start the year? Not me. Not me. I thought they could hover around a playoff spot. I didn't initially have them to be the 7th seed, I will say that. Or no, I had them winning the AFC South, actually. I had them winning a bad AFC South. I thought the Colts were going to be involved, but I thought Jacksonville's probably going to slide it out because I don't think Houston's good. I still don't think they're good. But anyways, good on Jacksonville. 7-4, keep on winning. Huge win over the Arizona Cardinals on the road. And those are the type of wins you need to get. Let's not forget, in West Coast trips this season, the Jags are 3-0. Go to San Francisco and win. Go to Vegas and win. Go to Arizona and win as well. Now, in the postseason, they're likely going to have to go probably to Indy or to Denver, probably, or New England. I don't know if I love their odds in that. But the Jags are going to keep winning games, guys. This is likely, and I've been saying this is likely a 10-7 team. Which I know sounds crazy considering they're 7-4 right now, saying, oh, they're going to go on and lose, 3 more football games. Look at their schedule, though. They still have to play Indianapolis twice. They play Denver on the road. I think that probably results in 10-7. But I think the Chiefs probably finish 10-7 too, so they're going to be fine. I think the Texans probably finish 10-7 as well, but Jacksonville will win that 3-way tiebreaker, so I think they're going to be okay. Because, that only requires the Chiefs to lose 2 more. I said, they can win out. I don't know. We'll see. Cowboys lost. I think there's a very good chance to lose the Broncos too. Let's just say that. Regardless of all that, though, and there's a chance, by the way, the Chargers are the one falling out. Because also, don't forget, Chargers and Jags have the same record. Jags get in. So there's a chance the Chiefs, finish above the Jaguars. But when the Jaguars get in, it's a tie between the Jags and Chargers are tied with the record. Well, the Jags would get in, right? In a 3-way tie between the Jags, Texans, and Chargers, the Jaguars get in. So Jacksonville has a lot of the tiebreakers right now, which puts them in an excellent spot. Regardless of all this, though, I think they beat up on the Titans. This is just one of the games for the Jaguars they need to get. Obviously, they're looking if they can steal one against Indianapolis or get that Broncos game. That'd be huge because the games they're expected to win are layups. Their floor, and this is a good spot for the Jaguars, right? If you underperform, you're still winning 10 games. You beat Tennessee. Sure, you're on the road. I don't expect them to have much trouble here. You get the Jets at home, and you get the Titans at home to end the year. If you can steal one against Indianapolis or beat the Broncos on the road, you get 11 wins. You're likely the 6 or 5 seed, and you probably finish above the Kansas City Chiefs. If you lose, well, if you lose all 3, you still probably get in. I think it's the Chargers are probably going to get squeezed out. We shall see. There's a lot of moving pieces left for this season. In terms of this game specifically, though, yes, they'll beat the Tennessee Titans. Undoubtedly, they'll beat the Tennessee Titans. I like it, Tennessee. Just like, Cam Ward's trying. I will say that. Cameron Ward is trying for this team. They are 1-10, though. Losing last week to Seattle in a game that was more competitive than at least I thought it was going to be. I know, again, they score a garbage type touchdown and make it look close, and that's kind of what Tennessee does. Cameron DK and the special teams unit has actually been really good all year long for Tennessee. Offensively, it's just Cameron Ward. They don't have a run game with, Tony Pollard getting stuffed to the 1 yard, stuffed after 1 yard every single time. Defensively, they're okay, not great. It's tough being a Titans fan this year because they're probably going to finish 1-16. Maybe they might beat New Orleans at home. They get New Orleans in week 17, they might win that game. 2-15 for the Titans. Yikes. I'm going Jacksonville here on the road. And the thing about Jacksonville, too, if Trevor Lawrence can, really limit the interceptions and just play cleaner football, they're winning with Trevor Lawrence playing like ass. Let's just be honest, okay? I like Trevor Lawrence quite a bit. I think he is the franchise guy in Jacksonville. Obviously, he's getting paid like the franchise guy in Jacksonville. He's playing like crap, and they're still winning. Defense playing well enough. They're moving the football. I'll give them credit there. Liam Cohen's trying with Trevor Lawrence. I hope Lawrence again continues to actually starts to play better. I'll say that. Give me Jacksonville to go on the road and win and cover 6.5. Next up, we go to the number 1 most meaningless game of the week. Is there another more meaningless game? No, there's not. Oh, there is. Oh, goodness. We have back-to-back meaningless football games. Oh, let's get excited for the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins. Going to take the Dolphins to win and cover. They are, 5.5-point favorites? The Saints reverted back into the Saints last week after going to Carolina and winning because, the Panthers suck. The Saints lose last week on their own home field in the Superdome to the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins. You like that? Tyler Shuck is his own team's leading rusher. Shuck has never been a dual-threat guy, but all of a sudden he has to be the leading rusher with 22 yards because Devin Neal gets stuffed. Taysom Hill's not going anywhere. Kamara goes down with an injury. Yikes, and more yikes for the New Orleans Saints. You know what? I wouldn't mind if Fernando Mendoza gets drafted here. I just don't want it because I've never cheered for the Saints, and I don't want to cheer for the Saints. I want them to think, oh, Tyler Shuck's our guy. He's not bad, but he's not their guy. They're playing the Dolphins this week on the road. Give me Miami. Don't look now. The Dolphins have won back-to-back games. They are actually still alive in the AFC playoff picture. They would need to win out and a lot of things to go their way. Don't get me wrong. They're not getting in. They're not winning out either. They're probably going to lose their last 3 games, but they're probably going to win 2 more in a row. So Miami's probably going to find themselves at 6-7 on a 4-game winning streak and winning 5 of their last 6. And there's going to be some belief in Miami. Oh, wait, maybe we can get it done this year. And they're going to end their year losing 3 straight games in Pittsburgh. They're going to start losing 4 straight games in Pittsburgh against the Bengals on Sunday night. Like, that's going to get flexed. Against Tampa and then against New England. Undoubtedly. Right now, they are playing well. Again, winners in 3 of their last 4 games. Beating Atlanta, losing to Baltimore, beating Buffalo, and beating Washington. Tua is still Tua. Okay, Tua Tagovailoa is not playing that well. Devon Achane's been great. Jalen Waddle's been great. The defense has been a lot better. That's what's won Miami games. Unfortunately, it's not the play of Tua Tagovailoa. He's been okay. I think Tua can still definitely be a guy that gets moved after, again, we have a spot that's opened in the quarterback carousel this offseason. That's the Atlanta Falcons. With Michael Penix's injury potentially taking most of next season, there's a chance there's another available job, and that could be Atlanta for the first half of the year on a prove-it 1-year deal. Hold on. That sounds like a job for Joe Flacco. No, he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. Mac Jones, though, could end up in Atlanta, 100%. I still think he's Arizona, but we'll see, whatever. I think the Dolphins beat up on the Saints. The Saints are awful. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Somehow they've won 2 games. They beat the Giants and the Panthers. The Panthers just suck. They cut Blake Grupe, longtime kicker. Instead, now it is Cade York, former Louisiana Tiger, who was with the Bengals at the end of last year. Cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to take the Dolphins here. I think the Dolphins win and cover. It's just a straight-up meaningless football game. Oh, I guess the Dolphins are kind of alive. Ooh, sure. If you want to think that, go ahead. I think Tua and this team wins. I'm kind of pissed Zach Wilson's never going to get a shot. which I guess you can't bench Tua right now. Maybe Wilson gets his Week 18 opportunity. I don't know. But I'm going to take the Dolphins to win and cover this week against the New Orleans Saints in potentially the most meaningless game of the week. Wait, hold on. No. This is the most meaningless game of the week. It is right here in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Atlanta Falcons go on the road to take on the New York Jets. Oh, wait, Atlanta's not that many games out of the playoffs. They are. Okay. I'll tell you this. Tampa's not losing another game for the rest of the year. We'll get into them. They're actually next up. And that's why I think the NFC South is completely safe. But here comes the Atlanta Falcons going on the road to take on the New York Jets. Oh, wow. I'm oozing with excitement for this football game. So pumped. Who cares? No Michael Penix. No Drake London. I still think they win. I don't care. I think they beat the Jets. Tyrod Taylor again starting for New York now. Justin Fields is benched. Oh, is it Fields? Is it Tyrod Taylor? Oh, who is it? I don't know. It's Tyrod Taylor this week. The Jets are how much can Breece Hall, how much can Breece Hall step up? How much can Breece Hall, carry this football team? Defensively, they're not great. This is just, I don't know, man. It's just bad football. The Falcons beat the Saints. Awesome. The Saints suck. Good on Kirk. Again, Kirk's trying, and his camp is trying to establish the point that he is a starting quarterback in the National Football League. The honest answer to that question is he's not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Let's just be honest. I said honest too many times there, but he's not. He's going to get his chance here to start for the rest of the season. They're not going to win that many games. But without Drake London here, now you look at, okay, we're throwing to Darnell Mooney. We're throwing at Kyle Pitts. We're throwing at, David Sills, the West Virginia receiver. David Sills the fifth. That's cool. It's not really a winning formula. They go to New York. They're probably going to beat the Jets. I mean, winning formula going forward. And yeah, they're going to find themselves at 5-7. There's going to be some belief, maybe the Falcons can get in, and they're going to host the Seahawks next week and get ran right through. Yeah, and then they got to go to Tampa on a short week on a Thursday night. I know last year, Kirk did get the Bucs on a Thursday. He's not going to get him again on the road, especially with Baker probably back for that game. And we'll get into the Baker thing in a second. We'll see. The Jets are awful. I know they won back-to-back games. It pains me that they beat the Bengals. I laughed when they beat the Browns because Dylan Gabriel's not good. I guess, again, the thing that the Jets have now with Tyrod Taylor is that they actually have a passing ability, but you do take away from the quarterback run game, obviously, that it's always established when Justin Fields is the quarterback. Either way, again, it's like it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. I think, again, Tyrod Taylor is the better quarterback, but for what the Jets are trying to do, or at least what Justin Fields tries to do, I think it is tougher for defenses to stop. I think Tyrod Taylor makes them a better team, but I think, in terms of being a more dynamic offense, it is Justin Fields. And that doesn't completely make sense, I understand. Justin Fields is probably going to lose more games, but Justin Fields gives you more upset potential. Tyrod Taylor's team is probably better, but, they're still going to lose. Regardless, it's a meaningless point. They're going to suck regardless of who's quarterback, okay? And I don't want Fernando Mendoza to be the quarterback of this team either. This is hell. I'd rather them go to New Orleans than this. I think the Falcons win on the road. Would I bet on this football game? Absolutely not. Do not waste your money. Do not burn your U.S. currency on a game like this. This is an absurd football game. This is a game that does not matter for anybody. Like the Dolphins game means more than this one does. Don't bet on it. The Jets suck. The Falcons aren't particularly good either. I am going to be going with Atlanta with the victory and the 2.5-point cover. I'm telling you, though, do not bet on the football game, especially with Drake London out as well. I know, again, Kirk did not look bad last week, getting the ball to David Sills, getting the ball to Darnell Mooney, kind of getting it to Kyle Pitts. And obviously, Bijan Robinson is still in the lineup as well. So the Falcons should win. Would I bet on it, though? Absolutely not. Let's move on now to our next game. And here are the aforementioned Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So is Tampa in trouble? Yes, they are, obviously. But that's from a winning perspective. They're not going anywhere in the playoffs. Now, what Tampa may do, which is usually what they do every year, they've only done it once, but still, they're always a threat. Tampa's going to be the 4-5 game, and they're going to give a really good number 5 seed to hell. And I'll say this now. They are going to beat the Seattle Seahawks in the first round of the playoffs. I don't care how good Seattle looks. I don't care how good JSN, Sam Darnold's been. That Seahawks team is going to walk into Tampa cross country. It's the first trip you can make up in the Pacific Northwest, all the way down to Tampa Bay, and they will lose. Okay? And then the Bucs the next round are going to walk into Los Angeles and lose by 40 points. That's what's going to happen. Or maybe they'll go to Philly and lose, or Detroit and lose. Whatever. This is what they did to the Eagles a couple years ago. They're going to give a team hell for going on the road and playing at Raymond James. And nobody's going to want to see this team in the playoffs. I understand. I've been saying they're going to get so much better in the postseason. Godwin's going to be 100%, obviously. Bucky's back now. Mike Evans is going to be back. The offensive line is going to be healthy. The problem the Buccaneers face is they have an incompetent head coach. That's what he is. That's what he is. They have an incompetent head coach and a horrible defense. How does Todd Bowles have a job? Why was he the successor to Bruce Arians? If Todd Bowles wasn't the coach in 2021, the Bucs go back-to-back and Tom Brady's got 8 Super Bowls. I don't understand. If you're Tampa, if you're Jason Light, how do you still put up with this crap? His defense sucks every year. Oh, he's an offensive guru. Maybe as a coordinator, he's great. As an actual head coach, he is horrible. And the fact of the matter is, Tampa always reaches the playoffs. They always win the South. So the Bucs are content on saying, well, our coach gets us there every year, so let's bring him back again. Tampa's lost 4 of 5, and sure, they're going to win out. And this is going to save Todd Bowles' job. They're going to go 12-7 because their schedule sucks. They're going to beat Arizona. They're going to beat New Orleans. They're going to beat Atlanta. 3 straight home games. They're going to go to Carolina and win. They're going to go to Miami and win. And they're going to beat Carolina again. They're going to go 12-5, and they might not even need the last Panthers game because I don't think the Panthers are going to win many games going down the stretch. Regardless of all of that, though, Bowles is going to save his job, and he's going to come back next year, and it's going to be the same thing. They don't play defense. Their secondary sucks. Oh, let's send pressure. Okay, yeah, let's leave corners. Let's leave our guys one-on-one on islands with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Now, the Mayfield thing. Why is Baker coming back onto the field down already by 20-plus points in the second quarter? They get him hurt. Luckily for Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield, it's not a long-term injury. It's only a separated shoulder, right? Or not even that. It's a low-grade AC joint sprain. He's not going to be out for long. He might play this week. If I'm Tampa, unfortunately, you have to play him. Guys, is Teddy Bridgewater practicing? What was Teddy Bridgewater doing last week? I don't know. I mean, good on Unc. He's just collecting paychecks. Let's not forget, this time last year, Bridgewater was coaching high school football. Did come into a playoff game last year for the Lions against the Commanders. But I don't know what Bridgewater was doing. I guess he beat out Kyle Trask in the offseason, so sure, for the backup job. Whatever. They got to start Baker this week. I don't care if he's hurt. You need Baker out there because I don't know what the hell Bridgewater was doing. I think Baker's going to play. He did not practice today. It's Baker Mayfield. He's going to find a way on the field. I really believe that. So they're going to get Baker. I think if it's Teddy, I still think they win. Would I bet on it? I don't know. Because, guys, Jacoby Brissett's going to throw for 400 yards on this team. You know what the Cardinals do. It's air it out all game long with Michael Wilson, with Trey McBride. We'll see if Marv comes back or not, but apparently Michael Wilson probably will keep the number 1 receiver role, which he should, going forward. Arizona can't run the ball with Bam Knight, with DeMarcado potentially returning Trey Benson. That doesn't matter because Tampa, if they do anything, they do stuff the run. They don't play pass defense. Their secondary sucks. So that's the problem with Tampa Bay. How can they win a shootout with Bridgewater? No. And actually, so I'll say this now. If Bridgewater plays, do not bet the game. Will Tampa win? Maybe. They get Bucky back, and the run game should be established again. They could probably sneak one out. Would I bet it? Probably not. If Baker plays, I don't care what percent Baker's at, they will win. Because I know the competitor Baker Mayfield is. I know the player Baker Mayfield is. Baker will find a way to compete at the highest level if he does go on the field. In terms of Arizona, again, I think the Cardinals are going to be able to throw the ball all game long against the Bucs. We've seen how bad the Buccaneers' pass defense is. We know how bad their secondary is. They don't really get to the quarterback that effectively. They're a joke, and Todd Bowles is a joke. I think Tampa with Baker win a high-scoring game. I'm going to go Buccaneers to win and cover the 3 points at home. And again, their schedule's so easy, they're not losing the South. And it will save Bowles' job again. I can't take it. Next up, and here's the reason why the NFC South is completely safe. Not just because of the Bucs' record. It's because the Panthers are atrocious. How is this team even where they're at? They're 6-6. This is the worst 500 football team ever. Yes, they win games because of their run game, and Bryce Young gets bailed out because of Rico Dowdle and the season Dowdle has had for Carolina. And yes, their run game is excellent. Come on now. Look at how they played last week in San Francisco. I think questions, again, it's been a thing all year long. Like, okay, is Bryce Young really the guy? And he'll go out and he'll throw for 400 yards against Atlanta to really say, okay, wait, actually, no, we do have something in Bryce Young. Great. Well, last week against the Niners was a typical Bryce Young performance when you need him. 160 yards, throws a bad interception in the end zone where you absolutely did not need to throw that football, but he did. Carolina's going to find themselves now at 6-6. They're at home, and yet they're 10.5-point dogs against the against the Los Angeles Rams, and it makes sense. Guys, right now, if I had to pick a Super Bowl winner, and I had to put an amount of money on any single team, I'm putting it on the Los Angeles Rams. Will they actually do it? I don't know. They're plus 440 favorites in terms of the field to win the Super Bowl. Right now it goes Rams, Eagles, Seahawks, Colts, Lions, Chiefs. I think the Ravens at plus 1,200 is great odds, by the way. Not that they're going to do it, but I think it's good odds. By the way, there's no team, every team's over plus 1,000 and above except for the Rams and the Eagles, which makes sense. I think it's going to be the Rams. I think they're going to go to Carolina and they're going to put belt to ass to this team, okay? The Niners still won with a poorly played offensive game, a poorly played game by Brock Purdy at quarterback, and yet they still won. What happens when you have an offense that's firing on all cylinders? You have the MVP. Unless something goes, crazy bad for Matthew Stafford, he's going to win the most valuable player. He's a minus 220 favorite to win the MVP. Then there's Drake May at plus 220, and there's nobody else even in consideration anymore. Obviously, with Jonathan Taylor's game last week and Mahomes' record and, the fall off, I guess, of Daniel Jones a little bit and, Josh Allen not playing particularly well and Justin Herbert not having a great second half, it is Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield as well. It is Matthew Stafford and Drake May for the MVP. Unless something goes really bad, it's going to be Matthew Stafford. And now we need to start having some conversations about, is Matthew Stafford a top 5 greatest quarterback of all time? That's the conversation that needs to be had. If he wins a Super Bowl this year, it's automatically, yes, he's top 5 of all time. If he wins an MVP, which he's going to, okay, let's have a conversation. Top 10 all-time in passing yards. This week, he's going to pass Matt Ryan for all-time passing yards. There's a chance by the end of the season, he'll pass Phillip Rivers as well, but he'll be top 8 in passing yards after this game. Again, he's going to pass Ryan to get into the top 8 of all time. He'll have more Super Bowls if he can win it this year than Aaron Rodgers. He'll have 2 MVPs. So he'll have an MVP at 38 years of age or 37 years of age. I don't know. I think you'd have to include Stafford in the top 5 if he wins it this year, if he wins the Super Bowl. MVP, we can have the conversation about top 5 all time. He'll be historically great, obviously. He's already a Hall of Famer. He'll be in the historically great conversation. We'll see about it again. If he wins the Super Bowl, I will immediately put him in the top 5 without a hesitation. I think I'll put him maybe even top 4. I know, again, he's got weapons, and a lot of quarterbacks would do well with Puka and Devontae. I understand, but I'm giving a lot of credit to what Stafford's doing this year, man. He's been phenomenal. I'm going to go Rams to blow out the Panthers. Again, they have the MVP. They have Puka Nacua, who's one of the best receivers in football, and Devontae Adams. Oh, he's not washed, right? Yeah, give me the Rams to go into Carolina and dominate this awful Panthers team. Next up, we go on to the afternoon games. We start off at Lumen Field as the Minnesota Vikings go on the road to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Unfortunately for Minnesota, I think unfortunately, 9 is probably not playing. 9 is out, it seems. J.J. McCarthy is still in concussion protocol, so the latest report today was Coach Kevin O'Connell says J.J. McCarthy has made enough progress with the concussion protocol to practice. Oh, hold on. It looks like 9's going to play. Oh, no. That's fine. Again, I'm a J.J. McCarthy truther. I'm a J.J. McCarthy believer, okay? I don't know about this season, though. I think McCarthy's going to be fine. I think he's still the franchise quarterback. He's done nothing but win everywhere in his career so far. He's the youngest starting quarterback in the National Football League. He's 22, and I would absolutely hate if the Vikings gave up on J.J. McCarthy after one season. It's ridiculous what teams do to young quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks. They give up way too easily. They have one bad season, and they say, oh, we're done with you. We don't want you anymore. We need to, we've seen it so many times. I saw it with Zach Wilson. I saw it with Daniel Jones. I saw it with Baker Mayfield. I saw it with Sam Darnold. Sometimes you just need to give quarterbacks time to work it out. And sometimes, again, there's just bad situations. With the Jets, with the Cleveland Browns. The Vikings are not in a bad situation, though. They have players. You have a top 5 receiver in the game. You have a good offensive line. McCarthy just needs to figure it out. And if you give him an entire next season and it doesn't work, okay, move on. But you got to give him one more full year as a starting quarterback. And they should bring in a guy like Anthony Richardson to make him compete in the offseason. But McCarthy is your starter until it goes south. That's why you should not bring in a veteran like Joe Flacco, because we know Flacco's better than McCarthy. Richardson is not better than JJ, though. We know that. And we know again, O'Connell likes AR, so that's probably going to be the spot for him next season. Regardless of all that, though, Vikings go on the road to take on the Seahawks. Not going to go well. There's a chance McCarthy doesn't play, which we'll see. Again, the Minnesota population really likes Max Brosmer. Obviously, he played at Minnesota last year, was really good, was good for the Golden Gophers. He was really great for New Hampshire over at the FCS level for 3 consecutive seasons, and then obviously transferred to Minnesota last year, was good. So that's why, again, I think Vikings fans like him so much because he played for the Golden Gophers last year, hometown guy. Well, played in New Hampshire. I don't think he's from Minnesota. But regardless, right, went to college in Minnesota. I understand, again, the Vikings fans like Brosmer quite a bit. Okay, sure. First start up in that environment with the 12th man up at Lumen Field. Oh. So regardless of who's quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, I don't think it goes well. I know Seattle only beat Tennessee by 6 points last week. Again, Tennessee does their special teams act. Their defense comes through, and they find ways to stay in games. Good on them. I'm not overly impressed, obviously, with the Titans. Whatever. The Seahawks are fine. That was a road game last week, cross country. They should be fine to beat up, 100% on the Vikings this week. We know what Sam Darnold can do. I was looking at Darnold's stats. Honestly, not that impressive. Passing yards are great, 2,700, but 2,800 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 picks. Do we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Darnold being a franchise guy? No, he is, but it's like, he's a starter for the rest of his career, but I don't know. I feel like the Darnold run's getting a little overstated right now. I don't know. Whatever. It's getting a little overhyped, and it has a lot to do with how the way Jackson Smith and Jigba's been playing, and that JSN has been a premier player in the sport this season. I don't know. I'm going to take the Seahawks. Again, I think this team's future lies in a wild card berth and a loss in the first round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. They've already lost to them this season. I think they're going to go on the road cross country and lose there, but that's neither here or there. Again, we have a long way towards that. I guess. I'm going to take Seattle to win and cover against the Vikings, regardless if it's McCarthy or Brosmer. I think Seattle's going to get it done. Seahawks win and they cover 10.5. Next up, we go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. Oh boy, the Buffalo Bills. Oh, man. I want to believe in Buffalo, right? I want this to be Josh Allen's year. I've been saying it all year long. I want this to be the year Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl. I want this to be the year Josh Allen finally gets over the Patrick Mahomes speed bump. I don't know if it's this year anymore. Again, there's a chance he doesn't even have to run in to Patrick Mahomes this season in the playoffs. We shall see. Because there's a chance Chiefs don't get in. There's a chance both these teams are wild cards, and they probably won't run into each other, at least until potentially, obviously, the AFC Championship game if they get there. Last week against Houston. I don't care what the media tries to tell you, and yes, statistically, are they a great defense, the Texans? 100%. Should Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have any business losing to Davis Mills and the Texans on the road? The answer to that question is absolutely not. They should have no problems going to Houston and winning a football game. But yet, they failed. Did I skip the Colts game? Oh, I absolutely did. Oh, no. Okay, we'll get to that later. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how I missed that. I was just thinking, wait, I've not talked about the Texans yet today. That'll be up next. Don't you worry. Anyways, I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm missing a game. Anyways, the Bills going to Houston last week sucked, okay? They lose to Houston. They played like crap. Defense is all over Josh Allen. Allen's still making some questionable decisions with the football. Brutal stuff, okay? Not what you want to see. I'm still okay with this team beating Pittsburgh, okay? I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is playing or not. So, right, Pittsburgh goes to Chicago last week, and they had some, efforts to try to win that football game, and it was a competitive one, don't get me wrong. Again, we were pretty confident in the fact that the Bears were going to win that football game, again, with Mason Rudolph starting and whatnot. I think Rodgers is going to play. Again, Rodgers wanted to play last week. Pittsburgh had to say, okay, hold on. We don't want you in this spot. They still control their own destiny to the playoffs. Do they get in the playoffs? Let's be honest, probably not. Just considering the way the Ravens are playing, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to get in. And it's going to be crazy, too. The 1 year, again, Mike Tomlin has built this legacy and has built, Pittsburgh Steelers football and the fact that they get in the playoffs every single year. No matter who's at quarterback, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, they find ways into the postseason, and they finally get Aaron Rodgers, and looks like that's not going to go their way. Now, the field around them is way more difficult this season. Obviously, the AFC was nowhere near as good as they are this year than they were last season, but it doesn't look very good for Pittsburgh. This is a must-win game for them. I don't think they beat Buffalo. Buffalo, okay, again, Houston, they have a good defense. I know their offense. I don't think, again, the Bills had any business losing that football game, but yes, I will say this. The Houston defense is really good. And Buffalo goes in there, loses the football game. They swarm Josh Allen. Allen gets sacked 8 times. It's ridiculous. So line sucks. He does not have a premier target. It's a shame that the Bills are wasting the Josh Allen prime right now. It's a joke. Regardless of all that, though, Allen does need to play slightly better. But again, how much do you want out of the guy? I don't think they lose in Pittsburgh. Steelers aren't playing that well. I get it, Rodgers didn't play, but whatever. You losing to the Bears on the road. And again, the Bears are a good team. I fully understand that, but still, not a great loss. Now they get Buffalo. Again, James Cook's been a premier back in the sport this season. These explosive runs that you see every single game out of James Cook. Again, had one Thursday night against Houston. He's absolutely massive for this team. And again, I just don't bet against Josh Allen. I understand this is a 7-4 football team. I'm not betting against Allen. I know he's going to have to go on the road in the playoffs, which I don't particularly like. But I do think they beat Pittsburgh in this spot here. Pittsburgh's lost 2 of 3, losing the Chargers. They did beat Chicago. They beat Cincinnati before losing to Chicago. TJ Watt obviously is elite. JJ Watt got to announce or commentate over TJ Watt's obviously family breaking sack record. I think that the Bills, they'll go on the road and win this football game. Pittsburgh is slowly getting worse. They are. I think their peak of their season was, I don't even know. They started 4-1, now they're 6-5. They randomly beat the Colts. They could still give you a tough game. I just don't think they beat Buffalo, guys. I'm going with the Bills to get this one done. Give me Buffalo on the road to win and cover 3.5 points. Josh Allen gets back in the win column this week, and let's hope the offensive line can just block TJ Watt, which, easier said than done. Okay, I skipped this game earlier. Didn't mean to skip it. I don't know. I guess I just forgot to make the graphic for this game, so it didn't pop up. But here it is, the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts to win and cover the points as well. This is where we can all cool down on the Houston Texans, guys. We could all just take a chill pill on Houston. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 4 of 5. Okay, guys, I hate to say it. You know who comes back this week? CJ Stroud. They're going to get worse. I'm going to say it. They're going to get worse. Davis Mills is playing well. Mills is not trying to do too much. Mills is just a system guy. He's handing the ball off. He's making the plays. Made a game-winning play against Jacksonville to run in for a touchdown. I think they're getting worse with Stroud. And I know Houston is a defensively built football team. I mean, that's what DeMeco Ryans is, right? Former defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. I understand. Again, it's a defensive-minded team. I believe they're getting worse, though, at CJ Stroud at quarterback. They're 3-0 at Davis Mills. And now, you have to go back to Stroud, but wow. Oh, man, I don't like it. Their schedule's rough. This is why I'm not taking them seriously at all as a playoff team. Yeah, they're 6-5. They go to Indy, in Kansas City, wins over probably the Cardinals and Raiders, but then you go to Los Angeles. We'll see. I don't know. And then Colts to end the year. Yeah, to me, this is a 9-win at best football team. Good on them for salvaging the year. They started 0-3. They were 2-4 at one point in time. Sure, good on them. Good on Davis Mills. I think Stroud's capable, don't get me wrong. I just think this team's, they've got momentum right now with Davis Mills, and now you have to go back to CJ Stroud, which I understand, again, he's the franchise guy. Mills said it himself. I'm the backup. I'm just trying to keep this team afloat until Stroud comes back. We'll see. I know the Colts have not been great. They haven't played at home in a while. You know what the Colts do at home. Yes, it's a really good Houston defense. They're going to get melted this week. I think Daniel Jones, do we need to start giving out the Daniel Jones dome narratives? Are we going to start saying that Daniel Jones is an indoor quarterback? Because I think that's kind of what he is. He's playing really well outside of conditions. I get it. He went to Duke and, he played with the Giants for so long. Inside of domes, Daniel Jones is spectacular. I just want to put that out there. Every single game indoors this season, Daniel Jones played really well. In some hostile environments, he sees ghosts sometimes. And again, I know, a lot was made out of that Colts second half performance against the Kansas City Chiefs, where they couldn't score. They couldn't get a first down once they went up huge at the 17-point lead. I understand that was atrocious. That was horrible football. However, they're back at home in not a must-win spot, but a game that you really want to get to obviously improve your lead in the AFC South and get one on a division rival. I think they're going to do exactly that. I don't trust the Houston offense. In terms of Indianapolis against a good defense, I understand, again, how good the Texans defense can be. I think Indianapolis is going to burn them. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a big day. Again, we know the weapons that Daniel Jones does have. I know, again, those were fully showcased last week on the road in Kansas City. But, the Colts were that close to winning that football game. And if they had beaten Kansas City, they'd be 9-2. We'd be talking about, okay, this is the best team in the AFC, and this is now likely the Super Bowl favorites. It is what it is. They choked. Going to Arrowhead's not easy, I will say that. And it's hard to beat Mahomes in his environment, obviously. They will be fine, and the Colts will continue to win. I think they're going to beat Houston next week. They might have trouble in Jacksonville. We'll see. That's going to be a really big game next week. That should be on Sunday night, but it's not. I don't know what better game do you have on Sunday night next week than Jags Colts? Philly Los Angeles. No, Chiefs Texans. What? Come on. That's so dumb. Anyways, gotta put Mahomes in prime time. Give me the Colts to win and cover at home against the Texans. Next up, back onto the afternoon slate. Chargers Raiders. Okay. The Raiders are the worst team in the NFL. No, they're better than the Titans, but the Raiders are so awful, man. Shout out to the Browns. Shout out to, again, our guy, Shedeur Sanders, proving the Raiders wrong. That's why they should have drafted him. He should have been the franchise guy over there. The Chargers, again, I'm skeptical on their postseason future. I look at their schedule and I'm scared for them. Again, these are a lot of 50-50 coin toss games. There's a lot of games on the schedule where I could see Los Angeles winning. Don't get me wrong. Like, I could see them beating the Eagles at home, 100%. I don't love it, though. Going to Kansas City, they could win. Are they going to win, though? I don't know. To Dallas, 50-50. Texans at home, legitimately, 50-50. Broncos game on the road, 50-50. This is the final game where I can confidently tell you the Los Angeles Chargers will win. 1, it's the Raiders, and 2, they're at home, right? They're not losing to Vegas, right? That's going to put you at 8-4, and now how many more wins can you get? That's why I'm a little concerned. Like, okay, Chiefs probably going to get in, Bills will obviously be in, and then Jacksonville and Chargers right now probably going to have the same record. That tiebreaker goes to the head-to-head winner, obviously, just 2 weeks ago in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Los Angeles is coming off a bye. They lost to the Jags and got embarrassed down there in Florida, and now they're coming off a bye week taking on the Raiders. I mean, this should be, again, no problem for them. The Raiders are a horrible football team. The Chargers do get Amarion Hampton back this week. Now, there is belief that the Chargers are going to be splitting reps at running back just going forward between Kamani Vidal and Amarion Hampton. That's okay. Again, I feel like once we get into, these clutch games in the final 3 weeks of the season, and if Hampton is outperforming Vidal like a lot of people expect, then it is going to be just a more heavy load for Amarion Hampton, and then you probably see Kamani Vidal go back into a number 2 running back type role. Justin Herbert, dude takes a beating back there, man. 35 sacks he's taken this season. Goodness, that's horrible. That's really bad. Herbert's trying. Again, he's throwing to Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Orlando Gadsden, and Quentin Johnston. It's like him and Josh Allen. Get these guys help. Get these guys an O-line. I know, again, Los Angeles has an injured O-line with the injury, obviously, to Joe Alt. They replace him with, they replaced him with Trevor Penning. Penning doesn't even start right now, so it's like, I don't know, man. The Chargers, they're going to have to beat the Raiders. Don't even get me started about this team, Raiders suck. I'm going to blame it on Geno. Why? Because Geno told everyone to blame it on him, so I will. The Raiders probably go 1-16. They might beat the Giants to get to 2-15, but I mean, I don't think they beat the Giants at home. I don't think so. That's going to be the Giants Super Bowl. I think New York's going to win that game. We said at the beginning of the season, the Raiders are in trouble because they decided to give Geno Smith 3 seasons, and in year 1, they're already in trouble. I don't know what they do. I have no idea what the Raiders do going forward. Geno's not good. Your O-line's not good. You can't run the ball, so Ash Genti gets bottled up at the line of scrimmage every single play. You try to get the ball to Brock Bowers, sure, but you have no offensive line to get him the football. Trouble. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's a joke that's going on in Vegas. I don't know what Pete Carroll's plan is because, again, like, how many years does Pete Carroll want to continue to do this? And does he want to end things out with Geno Smith at the helm? I'm going to blame it on Geno, and I'm going to take the Chargers. Give me Chargers to win and absolutely destroy the Raiders, -9.5. I don't think the game's all that competitive. Give me Herbert and the Chargers before they go through that treacherous schedule to end the year where, oh boy, they're going to be fighting for their playoff lives. On now to Sunday Night Football. Oh, what a banger we have on Sunday night as the Denver Broncos take on the Washington Commanders. Give me the Denver Broncos to dominate the football game. Don't think it's close. Guys, Washington won't score, and Denver gets to take on an atrocious defense. Okay, perfect. Broncos offense has struggled at times. They struggle pretty much every single week. They're not going to struggle this week. This is a game that you see Bo Nix really show up. And you see a great offensive night out of Bo Nix. A great night out of the run game with R.J. Harvey, with Cortland Sutton, and, the rest of that receiving core. With a guy like Troy Franklin, like Evan Ingram, I think that passing game is going to really get going this week because Washington is a bad and a horrible defensive team. They're horrible. The Commanders were in the NFC Championship game last year. They have now won 6 consecutive games. Chicago, Dallas, KC, Seattle, Detroit, Miami, in obviously Spain. And now they come off the bye week to take on the Denver Broncos at home on a Sunday night in an undeserving Sunday Night Football spot. Now, Jaden Daniels might play. For as gruesome of an injury that was, Daniels might play on Sunday night. I would suggest no. He got injured on a Sunday night against a good team. They're playing a great defense this week in the Minnesota Vikings. I don't care you want to win on Sunday Night Football. Give him one more week and let him start against the Vikings. Do not throw him out there to get mauled by this defense, the best defense in the National Football League. Don't throw him out there for this. Give him Minnesota next week, and then New York, the Giants. Let him play those games. Do not throw your franchise guy into a game against the Denver Broncos. Absolutely not. I think that would be horrible if they did that. Let Mariota go out there. You know your season's over. You could win out and you're still not making the playoffs at 9-8. So let Mariota go out there, let Mariota do his thing and lose the football game. That's my advice to the Washington Commanders. You're not going to the playoffs. Don't throw your franchise guy, your young franchise quarterback out to the Wolves to lose and potentially get re-injured. I know what the Broncos are going to do this week. The Commanders won't score, and yes, Denver's offense will look good. In stretches of the season, they've been an atrocious offense, but yet they win because of their defensive ability. They're a 9-2 team, potentially the best team in the AFC. Sean Payton's done a great job. Obviously, they, at home, no one wants to go to Mile High right now and play that football team. They are difficult at home. They have to go cross country here. I don't think it matters. Washington has been a horrible football team this season. Obviously, without their starting quarterback, potentially Terry McLaurin's coming back this week, but the quote on Terry is he's going to try to play as much as possible. Okay? New starting running back, at least it appears, Chris Rodriguez is questionable to play with an illness. So maybe, Bill gets a starting assignment again, even though, again, Bill has not been with the preseason hype dictated he was. Bill still gets a lot of carries, but again, Chris Rodriguez does feel like a slightly better back. Just nothing's going Washington's way. They should have beaten Miami last week. The Dolphins made 2 weeks ago. The Dolphins made so many mistakes in that football game in Spain, and the Commanders just could not capitalize on them. I'm going Denver to dominate, guys. This game means something to one team. It means nothing to the other. It means something to Denver. It means absolutely nothing for an 8-loss Commanders football team. Denver's got a division to clinch. They've got an AFC to get home field advantage in. I'm taking the Broncos to win and dominate. And yes, we are going to see the offense fully look great this week. Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, RJ Harvey, Troy Franklin, they are going to dominate Washington. And this is the type of game the Broncos need going forward. Again, for their offense to officially look good going into the playoffs. By the way, they get the Raiders next week as well. So things are looking good for Denver, at least in the near future. Broncos win, and they absolutely mash the Commanders -6.5 for Denver here on the road on Sunday Night Football. On to our final game of the week on Monday Night Football in Foxborough, Massachusetts, as we have got the New England Patriots hosting the New York Football Giants. So it looks like Jackson Dart is returning this week for the Giants after Jameis Winston put on an all-time performance last week against the Detroit Lions. I mean, talk about a fantasy game. Jameis Winston, 366 yards, 18 for 36 passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But oh wait, there's more. Jameis Winston also with a 33-yard receiving touchdown from Gunnar Olszewski. What? I mean, only Jameis Winston, man. A Heisman type effort at Jameis, but unfortunately for the Giants, obviously they don't play defense. Jake Bates hit a big field goal, and Jahmyr Gibbs happened. So good on the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs, by the way, 219 yards. The dude is probably the best running back in football. Anyways, told you he was the #1 fantasy guy this year. Anyways, though, Giants go on the road to take on the Patriots. Looks like Jameis's days of starting are done, at least for now. Again, Winston's going to continue to find himself in fun opportunities like this for the rest of his career. Dart did practice on Wednesday. He's still questionable because he's in concussion protocol still. I believe it's going to be Jackson Dart. He gets an extra day, obviously, with the game being on Monday. I would expect Dart to play. Still, though, this is tough. The Patriots have a really good defense. New England played a sloppy football game last week. They lost Will Campbell, but it doesn't look like Will Campbell's out for the year. He'll probably be back for the postseason, potentially for Week 18. So he's only on the basically 4-game IR, so it's absolutely massive for the Patriots that he'll still be around. As for this game, though, as for last week, the Patriots did not look good against the Cincinnati Bengals. Drake May threw an interception, probably one of the worst games May's played all year long. He's still playing good football, don't get me wrong, but it was just a bad game for the Patriots in Cincinnati. They still won, though, and that's what good teams do. The Patriots have now won 9 consecutive games, and they will beat the Giants. They're going to go into a bye week after this before they get Buffalo and Baltimore in back-to-back weeks, which obviously is a lot more difficult than what they've been going up against recently because they do have a very weak schedule, I understand. And this is part of the weak schedule, don't get me wrong. They'll beat the Giants. I like how Travion Henderson has kept his starting running back role. You know, Ramondre Stevenson, oh, he's back. But no, it's still Travion Henderson's backfield, and I'm very happy about that. And, you know, Drake May is obviously playing like an elite quarterback in football right now because that's what Drake May is. He's elite. Drake May obviously is very elite. The Patriots defense is playing well, and they get a home game here against the Giants. The Giants, who, by the way, have not won on the road all year long. The Giants have only won twice this season at home against the Chargers and the Eagles. Isn't that weird, right? Their 2 wins are the Chargers and Eagles at home. They've lost every other game that they played, and yes, they are the best 2-10 football team of all time. 100%. Even without Gam Scadaboo, without Malik Neighbors, without Jackson Dart last week, they almost go to Detroit 2-4 field and beat the Detroit Lions. It is absurd. That's just what Jameis does, though. Winston is like the most difficult backup quarterback to ever deal with. So good on New York, but I can't see them going into Foxborough and winning. Do I love the spread for the Patriots? No. I think they'll cover. Would I bet it? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, remember when the Patriots hosted the Jets and kind of kept them around on a Thursday night on a primetime game? They won. They won by 13 points and they covered. It was, I think, 12.5 points was the line, but I wouldn't be jumping out of, I wouldn't be, running to the books to bet this 7.5. I think they win, but I wouldn't be that confident in them covering the line. But yes, I do like New England in the spot before they get into some difficult games going forward. But I mean, their floor for this season is 13-4, which is just incredible for Drake May, Mike Vrabel, and the rest of the guys here in Foxborough, trying to reestablish a new dynasty of sorts, of course, in New England. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NFL Week number 13 predictions. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back later in the week for our best bets and best player props as well for week number 13, and next week as well for our week 14 predictions. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more, and Mamba forever.